everyone. Hope you're doing well. My name is JT Topin, and I am going to be going over the importance of picking a property management company. So choosing the right one from the beginning is definitely going to get you started in the right direction. So I highly recommend interviewing, researching prior to digging too far into any specific deal. Always want to choose a local company. A local company will be able to provide a plethora of knowledge on that niche market. You know, everything from contractors to work with, not to work with, as well as hyper pockets in the specific market, where to invest, where not to invest. So you want to make sure you pick a local company that has great intimate knowledge of the market. You know, a property management company that's highly reputable in your market might not be the right fit because they only have experience in an A-class asset where you're investing in a C or B. You're going to want to make sure that you pick a property management company that really has experience in that specific asset class and can help you drive, again, your business plan forward. Are purchasing in the C class and you're repositioning the asset, you want to make sure your management company has experience with reposition. So if the reputation of the property is damaged for whatever reason, poor management, crime, whatever the situation might be, you want to make sure the company you pick has repositioned a property before, has the tools and resources to do that. So when you're interviewing the property management company, there's going to be a lot of questions you want to ask. Kind of the high-level questions that should be pretty easy, straightforward answers from that management company would be, how long have you been in business? How many assets do you have under management? You know, that question's really important because you don't necessarily want a brand new company that has only a few hundred assets or a few hundred units under management, 2 or 3 assets, because they might not have the experience or the bandwidth you need to support you and your growth, right? And you also, on the other side of the spectrum, a giant company that has, hundreds of assets, thousands of units, might not be able to give you the time and attention you need for your specific project. So you want to make sure that they're not too big or too small, just that right fit. So making sure that the assets and unit count that they have aligns with what you need in a property management company. So always get addresses for the properties that they're managing. And going further into that, the property management company more often than not is probably going to try to give you their best assets addresses. So dig deeper. Take the ones they give you, go look at those, but make sure you get on their website, Google their assets, and drive the ones they didn't tell you about. Because the ones they didn't tell you about are the ones that most likely have issues, whether they're trying to hide those issues or whether it's, something that just happened, it's out of their control, whatever it might be. There could be a specific reason they didn't divulge those particular addresses to you. So just dig deeper, take what they're telling you at face value, and do your own due diligence for it. The next question you'll want to segue into is inquiring about whether they have or haven't been sued, especially within the last 5 years. How many times have been sued in the last 5 years? Is there a trend? And is this something that could potentially happen to you in your relationship? And again, much like when you're discovering whether they were fired or if they fired somebody, this could be a pretty big deal breaker for you as well. If they're being sued by clients for the same things or that seem like poor business practices, then you're going to want to just stop the relationship there and move on to your next option in property management. Moving on, philosophy and staffing is one that's very, very important. You're going to have one person in the office and one person in the maintenance field. That's just a general rule of thumb. You can go above and beyond there or below there. The condition of the asset and where you're looking to take the asset will really determine how many people you need on site. But you're definitely going to want to follow that rule of thumb, that 1 per 100, one for office, one for maintenance. And that'll kind of set you in the right direction. So for me, when I'm doing my underwriting, I budget anywhere from $1,050 to $1,250 per month per unit for payroll. And what that'll do is that'll give you enough budget to select the right candidate, cover any and all expenses that are associated with that specific associate as well. So that $1,050 to $1,250 will cover that employee's salary as well as their benefits and any other overhead that there might be. So that $1,050 to $1,250 is a good rule of thumb for underwriting and budgeting, and you want to make sure that the property management company feels the same way. So when staffing the property and when the property management, kind of lets you know their philosophy for on-site, how they hire their managers, you're then going to want to make sure that you can also interview the property manager and approve them before the company actually selects them. This is a very important thing that not a lot of people do, but I do think it's vital. You want to make sure that not only is the management company the right fit for you, but they're hiring the right person for your property. What are their minimum fees for a property? Is it calculated off NOI? Is it a flat fee? Is it calculated off cash flow? Make sure that you know that up front so that when you're underwriting deals that you're building that in to account for that in your underwriting. So a good rule of thumb would be, 4% if you're over 100 units. That 4% management fee is typically what I budget underwrite. If you're going to have a true third-party property management company that's staffing the property on site, 4% is a good rule of thumb. Do they provide a written management plan for each and every asset? Are you going to be able to take my 150-unit property and write me a good, strong business plan as well as on my 40-unit property? Are they going to provide that, or is that something that you as the investor need to provide? So we always provide those ourselves when we're underwriting and we're moving into a property. I write my own business plan, my own management plan, but then I also like to try to get one from my management company to, again, make sure our thoughts and opinions align to make sure the property is going to be successful. So are they leveraging their size and their market knowledge and their other assets to help save you money on the property and on expenses? So you're going to want to know their philosophy on work orders, on emergencies, on their time frame for responses. How do they handle these things? There are going to be things that you consider emergency that they might not necessarily consider an emergency, and so you want to make sure that is relayed to your property management company. So when something like that does happen, they're addressing it how you need and want it addressed, not just adhering to industry standards. So minimizing the downtime, the time from when one person moves out to the next moves in, is key, right? Every day is roughly $35 to $45 to $45 in rent that you're missing, depending on your average market rent. So every day the apartment sits vacant is money going out of your pocket. Usually it's not the case where the property management company is dragging their feet, because their management fees are typically tied to income. And so the longer an apartment sits vacant, the more your income goes down. Likewise, the more their potential management fee goes down. So the average make ready is a key metric in the performance of your properties. There's also, of course, renovations that take longer, but your standard turn time should be 3 to 5 days. And you want to make sure that your property management company believes in that as well and can execute that as well. So another good question to ask is what is the longest period of vacancy you've had in the past? Is it 15 days, 30 days, 45 days? And what caused this? While it's not common for these vacancies to sit for long periods of time, it does happen, and you want to know what the issue was and if it's something that could potentially be repeated on your property, or if it was due to a specific situation that you most likely won't see. But ask them, it's going to be a multifaceted answer. It should be a multifaceted answer. If you see them having those types of vacancies and vacancy loss, across their entire portfolio, then that would be a red flag for me. Who handles evictions? So evictions are handled in multiple ways, right? Comes to the legal actions and evictions. If you have a lawyer and the property can sustain using outside counsel to file those evictions, that is what I always do, in my opinion, because it just makes it cleaner. So another question you're going to want to ask is, how do they screen for tenants? Some property management companies are just going to have you fill out an application and move somebody in, right? That's not what we want our assets. We want to make sure that our tenants and prospective tenants are going through a full credit criminal income background check. And what that does is it makes sure that, or ensures that you're getting good quality tenants that can afford the apartment and that are less of a risk of damaging, causing problems, or having to be evicted. So, and then counter that, where do you think you can improve? If they tell you no where they're lying, right? We can all improve in some way or shape or form. Every company, every individual, we all have room for improvement. And so you want to ask them and see how honest they are. So property management companies offer you a lot of different services. Again, if they have 3 or 4 assets in a specific market and you're buying a smaller property in the market, they have the ability to staff share and use their resources from other properties to help cover yours. Saves you money, saves other owners money. It's a benefit for everybody. If we're not networking, if we're not out searching for deals, then they're not happening. So if our time is being taken up by answering phone calls for rental inquiries or trying to get services lined up to repair an HVAC, that's all time being taken away from us deal sourcing. So to summarize what a property management company can do for you in due diligence is it really is give you a true in-depth background, opinion, and plan for the property, right? So that day one what you're getting into from a rehab standpoint, from an occupancy standpoint, and a financial standpoint. It really can't express enough how much value I get from having my third-party property management company complete the due diligence for me. Lastly, what the property management can help you with is your business plan, your overall business plan for your property, especially if you're a little bit more novice in apartment investing. They can really give you a step-by-step guidance and really hold your hand through the process of building your business plan, right? Picking a property management company, again, is one of, if not the most important thing you can do when you're purchasing a multifamily asset. They can really help push your progress along and help you be successful, or they can, cut you down at your knees and make you fall flat on your face. So you really want to make sure you pick the right one so that you can continue to be successful in your business venture. And what's right for you in one market might not necessarily be the right one for you in the next. And while I recommend using the same property management company, over across your portfolio, that's not always the option. So don't feel like you're stuck to one.